Yeah, in the end, just don't let anybody make you feel bad for growing and healing. You know what I mean? A lot of people have a very hard time really sitting with themselves and confronting a lot of truths. You know what I mean? It's almost something like people don't want to face the real them. You know what I mean? Because then this facade that they have, it just melts away. And that makes it really tough. And so I think, in the end, don't ever be afraid of living your life. You know what I mean? And living life on purpose and in humility and on truth, and sowing good seeds. You know what I mean? I was listening to this snippet of it's like a Drake preview, and it talked about losing friends and finding peace. When I really think about my life, and I look back on a lot of things, I think I probably lost one friend, honestly, just due to, man, I don't know, I guess in the end, I've done things I wasn't always proud of. You know what I mean? And I don't think that I've always been the person that I am now. I think that it took a lot of mistakes and, a lot of self-awareness to actually be in this space that I am in now. And, so when people see me and they assume that I'm this way or they assume that I'm that way, when I was younger, and, when I say younger, I mean like early 20s coming up, figuring out who I wanted to be. It was pretty insulting, because people think that if you look a certain way physically, then you are a certain way internally, I tell people all the time, when it comes to my physicalities, I'm very thankful for beauty and for youth, but it was something I never really could take credit for, externally. So my confidence really radiated internally. It radiated from the person that I am, but man, I'm telling you, it wasn't something that was always there. I wasn't always confident in myself. And I even still have my moments now, but I'm learning as I get older, as I develop a relationship with myself, as I continue to learn, things about myself, and I dibble and dabble in my craft and the things that I love, and I get better at things, you know what I mean? It's one of those things, like it's really cultivated over time. It's not one of those things to where it's like, you're, I mean, in a sense, I think, I'm not going to say you're born with it. I think every person is kind of like given a gift, you know what I mean? Or some high level of interest. And if you work with that, I think that alone will develop a sense of confidence within you. Because, for me, when it came to fashion, it was one of those things where it was like I really was confident in everything that I put on, and I hadn't realized it, but from very early on, in my younger years, I've always been into that, you know what I mean? And so that's why when it comes to garments and clothing and all of those things, I am so confident. I don't care what anybody has to say. I know it looks good, and I know I look great. You know what I mean? And even still, just, getting older, writing my book and doing the things that I did, it was really because first of all, let me just say this. I just got to a place where I was really comfortable, or I'm going to say accepting, rather, of everything that I've been through. It's really hard to look yourself in the mirror and really look at the mistakes that you've made. You know what I mean? And the person that you were, and, the things that you've done that you weren't really, you know what I mean? Like, that's hurtful, right? Especially when you're this new person and you look back and it's like, man, that stuff cultivated my character. But at the same time, I'm like, dang, And so I think real self-love and like a true sense of self really comes from having like that peace, you know what I mean, with the real you, And so, don't be afraid of losing people, and don't be afraid of doing it alone, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, when it comes to people, when it comes to just, the whole nine, it's one of those things where it's like, you good with you, you know what I mean? And like I said, we normalize a lot of the behaviors that not healing and not really knowing who you are as a person, what that manifests into. It manifests into anger issues. It manifests into entitlement. It manifests into being a people pleaser. You know what I mean? It manifests into all of these ugly things, but we glorify that, and we put a little makeup on it, right? We put some muscles on it, and we say this is attractive, this is acceptable, this is what, you know what I mean? That's not cool, and so, in the end, it's like it really takes a lot to sit with yourself. But man, once you do, I'm telling you, you really find a different level of peace and confidence with yourself. I'm so serious. Because when you have a level of awareness, you can really navigate through the world with just so much, I don't want to say a certain knowing about you, but I kind of feel like it is a certain knowing. I kind of feel like it is, a space where it's purposeful and it's purposely held for you. This path that you'll walk once you really sit with you, everything just really starts to make sense, and everything kind of just like, I'm not going to say it all makes sense in that sense, but I definitely think that it's one of those things where it's like, you have light. You know what I mean? Like, you're walking by faith, but at the same time, it's light. It's you get those spur of the moment things. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful, and it really works out in your favor. And so I think when it comes to confronting your truth, that's the only way you can really have a level of you. Like, that's the only way you can really reach that level of yourself. And if you don't know how to start, just start by asking yourself why. Why do I do what I do? Right? But the initial purpose of this podcast was really for me to just come on and let everybody know, like, once you've confronted a lot of the things, like your demons or whatever you want to call it, like, once you've confronted a lot of that stuff, you're going to start to see that a lot of people may try to shame you or try to remind you of what you used to do. Like, oh, you always used to do that, or you always, you know what I mean? And you really got to just, like, slowly but surely, like, okay, let me just say this. You really don't have to do nothing, honestly. I mean, just because I'm thinking about it. All you have to do is continue on that path. Continue to show up for yourself. Continue to be in that space of confidence and healing and, like, revelation. And, the universe will work that thing out. But just don't ever be afraid or, shameful of what you've been through. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't define you. And I just think that's just the moral of this story here. And, when it comes to today's society, that's just life. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants to put in the work to get those results. Nobody wants to overcome the negativity, the noise. I've had people tell me that the things that I do is a hobby. That's insulting. That's insulting as a dreamer. As somebody who's really passionate about what it is that I do, and I love what I do, and, I feel like I'm making a difference, and I know that I can make a difference, So, yeah, it's insulting, but nonetheless, I keep it pushing. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to overcome it, especially when the noise is coming from family. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't necessarily have that, even though, don't get me wrong, I'm not even going to go into that. But yeah, like, it's tough. It's a lot to overcome. But yeah, a lot of people don't really want to put in the work, to really see the results and the fruits of their labor in their lives, And so your character makes a difference. But, at the end of the day, while you're healing, while you're growing, while you're becoming, don't be afraid. The basis of this podcast actually was because I wanted to talk about my journey in regards to, like, baptism and why I decided to, go ahead and get baptized. But I don't know. I think I'll probably make another video on that. But I'm really excited. You know what I mean? Just new beginnings, all around me. I definitely need God. I definitely need the Holy Spirit. And I just wish everybody the best on their journeys, because it's not easy. And like I said, when you're really doing the work and you're really working on yourself and you're really striving to become the best version of you, especially if you started out small town or even in the bigger city, you know what I mean? Because bigger cities, I talk about this in my book Seasons, like, bigger cities really foster a lot of superficiality, but smaller cities is kind of like the crab in the barrel. You know what I mean? It's tough. Like, it's so tough. But I wish everybody the best on their journeys. And I just hope everybody has a great day, And I'll talk to you guys soon.